The University of California at Berkeley campus. Jeff Chiu, AP photo.
The pandemic and the nation's brutal economic collapse are combining to crush the college hopes of low-income and first-generation students.
Some high school seniors are dropping their first-choice schools in favor of colleges that are cheaper and closer to home, early surveys have found. Others are thinking about going part-time, or taking a gap year so they can work and bail out families whose breadwinners are suddenly out of work. Those who work with low-income students worry freshmen from poor families who were sent home this semester may never return, and high school seniors won't get the hands-on help they need with their financial aid applications.
The effects of these decisions could ripple across not just campuses but the U.S. for years to come. Students could be stuck in lower-paying jobs for the rest of their lives, lacking the financial boost brought by a 4-year college degree. Requests for additional financial aid will ramp up, and colleges with their own financial struggles may not be able to meet the demand. Colleges could see the widening of an already existing gap between low and high-income students entering their doors, and many are trying to make it easier for applicants whose lives are in chaos.
We're on the edge of the precipice, said Bridget Davis, a researcher and doctoral candidate at the University of Chicago who is studying 31 low-income students navigating their first year of college. Many have told Davis they are now less confident that they will successfully finish their current college semester, let alone re-enroll in the fall.
Congress tried to respond by stipulating in the economic rescue package that $14 billion in direct aid to colleges and universities must be distributed to colleges based on their enrollment of Pell Grant recipients, whose families are low income. In addition, half of the money must go to emergency financial aid to students, and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos said Thursday that $6.2 billion will be sent out immediately. The stimulus law also requires the department to suspend all payments on federally held student loans without interest or penalties through September 30.
But higher education groups have said that amount is insufficient and are pressing for billions of dollars more in future emergency aid packages.
In the interim, the law also provides checks from the government for individuals and families, with additional money for dependents under 18. Most college-age dependents are older than 18, though, and students themselves won't be getting a check if their families claimed them.
Difficulties could hit millions of students. About 6.8 million low-income college students received Pell Grants in 2018-19, according to the College Board. Pell Grants, unlike loans, don't have to be repaid and are aimed at people with the greatest financial need. The maximum is $6,345 for the 2020-21 year.
Early national surveys of high school seniors are showing those who initially were bound for 4-year colleges changing their first-choice schools for something less expensive. Some of those surveyed say they are thinking of giving up on going to college in the fall entirely.
The financial stress for families was cited. About 63% of students said they would still enroll in college but were worried about whether they could attend the school of their choice, while 17% said their plans have changed, according to the education consultants Art and Science Group.
Students with changed plans said in the survey that they would take a gap year, enroll part-time at a 4-year institution, go to community college, work full-time or enroll in a certificate program. Some still didn't know what their plans would be. Other surveys have also found similar conclusions.
Finishing college is already a coin flip for most first-time, full-time low-income students. After 6 years, only 49% of first-time, full-time Pell Grant recipients earned a bachelor's degree at the institution where they started, according to a report from Third Way, a center-left-leaning think tank.
Davis said her low-income students who've been sent home from college because of the pandemic face additional obstacles.
Their lives have abruptly changed from just starting to really be able to manage their freedom and focus on their first year of college, she said. They were just getting good at it, and now they've been sent home and they are back in the environment where they have extra responsibilities like helping younger siblings with their homework, taking care of aging grandparents in their home, running errands because they're the healthiest person in their family or they're having to pick up jobs.
On the K-12 level, schools are to remain shuttered in most states due to the Trump administration's extension of social distancing guidelines through April 30. That means high school seniors now lack the in-person help they traditionally get from high school counselors to meet critical admissions deadlines and requirements.
The disruption is absolutely concerning, said Carrie Warwick, Director of Policy and Advocacy for the National College Attainment Network, and, the longer they're out of school, the more dire the impact is going to be.
Some colleges are trying to ease the way for incoming freshmen. More than 300 institutions across the nation have pushed back their college decision dates to beyond the traditional May 1 deadline for their incoming classes, and some have even waived standardized test score requirements already for the next class.
The University of California System, Vassar, all public universities in Oregon, and others have announced that they won't require freshman applicants applying for fall 2021 to submit SAT or ACT scores to be considered for admission.
The National Association for College Admission Counseling has compiled a database of these changes at more than 950 colleges across the country, but Warwick said she doesn't know if students will even find out.
That's the sort of information where, if students aren't in school and they're focused very much on day-to-day living, they're not going to be planning ahead and keeping up to date with moving admission deadlines, or FAFSA verification paperwork, or things that usually require multiple in-person advising sessions, she said.
The immediate concern for low-income students headed to college this fall could be coming up with the cash for enrollment deposits. But more pressing is assistance with the FAFSA as students' parents lose jobs and the family economic situation shifts.
The biggest concern is that you might have students who weren't previously low income, who now are, Warwick said. Not only are they facing that loss of income, but if they've already done their FAFSA, they now need to contact the financial aid office to let them know there's been a change and ask for an updated financial aid package.
National College Attainment Network organizations, which have about 2,500 practitioners working directly with underrepresented students, have been urgently working to pivot to digital advising. But it's mostly uncharted territory for those who advise on high school campuses and rely on seeing their students face-to-face.
There's also concern about internet access for their students to receive digital advising, apply for scholarships, meet admissions deadlines or do schoolwork.
Some programs, though, have had success. Matriculate, a partner of Bloomberg Philanthropies College Point, is a college advising program in which undergraduate students serve as virtual advisors to a handful of high-achieving, low-income high school students.
High school counselors are dealing with so much, and now they're having to do that virtually, said Madeline Kerner, Matriculate CEO.
The situation is just diminishing the support available to our students, and high school counselors are doing the best they can, she said.
Advisors have been helping students understand their financial aid offers, talking about the on-campus college experience, since students can't visit them, and providing emotional support.
But the program has also seen some turbulence as its student advisors face their own difficulties transitioning from college to living at home and taking classes online.
Daniel Kim, a Matriculate student advisor, is a junior at Princeton University who was living on campus when the school decided to shut down its dorms because of the coronavirus.
I typically try to meet with my students once a week or so, but I had to pack up and everything, so it's definitely tricky to make time, he said.
The students he advises have found it hard to get in touch with university admissions offices due to jammed phone lines. And because K-12 schools are closed, they've been struggling to get critical admissions paperwork like hard copy transcripts.
Attending school close to home could also mean more limited post-secondary education options, said Tamara Heiler, Third Way's education director.
We know already that there are these education deserts, she said. Given the risk of the financial instability that is likely going to lead to additional school closures in the coming year or in the coming years, I'm concerned that there's going to be even fewer options for low-income students when it comes to making a post-secondary choice.
Schools like minority-serving institutions and historically black colleges and universities that largely serve these students are already fragile when it comes to enrollment, and it's possible some could close, said Tiffany Jones, Senior Director of Higher Education Policy at the Education Trust.
McMurray College, which has a large population of students who receive Pell Grants, announced it would permanently shutter come May. The college had faced declining enrollments and rising competitive costs, but cited the coronavirus pandemic and resulting economic disruption as a recent factor that complicated its financial condition.
If they don't shutter, institutions under fiscal strain could find it challenging to meet increased demands for financial aid and be less likely to want to enroll lower-income students who are going to be more dependent on financial aid, Heiler said.
For students who drop out of college, Heiler said their decision could have longer-term effects on the economy. Over time, those students may have lower incomes and have to rely on safety net programs, or could be more likely to default on their student loans, she said.
Defaults were a problem even before the pandemic. Students who start higher education and don't finish have some of the worst outcomes, Jones said. Students who start college and don't finish are more likely to default on their loans than many other groups. And in some cases, depending on the quality of the program, they can end up worse off than if they hadn't gone to college at all.
Following the last recession, most of the new jobs that were created required a secondary degree or credential, Jones said, and it's likely that low-income students will likely want to still enroll in higher education in the fall because of the looming recession. From 2006 to 2011, total college enrollment grew by 3 million, according to the U.S. Census Bureau.
All of the data today suggests that the economy could be still struggling at that point and they will desire to go, Jones said. So the question is, will higher ed be out of reach for these students at the time that they're going to need it the most?